Anyway, let's set the stage. Matthew Kadish, why don't you tell us what Warrior Nun is all about, and then we'll discuss it.
It's about a nun who's a warrior.
There we go. All right.
No, so basically, after waking up in a morgue, an orphan teenage girl discovers that she now possesses superpowers as the chosen halo bearer for a secret sect of demon-hunting nuns.
What an awesome concept.
It's a really awesome concept.
Yeah, it's based off of the comic book character Warrior Nun Ariella by writer Ben Dunn. And it was optioned and adapted to a Netflix series by Simon Barry, who worked on another sci-fi show that I absolutely hated, which was called Continuum, which I felt was very unevenly written and boring and confusing because it was about time travel. But basically, the Netflix series is a very kind of loose adaptation of the comic book. I think Barry was quoted at a convention called FreakCon that they merely use the mythology of the comic book universe to tell their story rather than attempt to do a direct adaptation. And also the comic book, it's very kind of manga inspired. So like you have these nuns in like Sailor Moon outfits where like their boobs are hanging out and like they're showing a lot of leg and midriff and stuff like that. And
totally not nun friendly.
Yeah, so he's like in 2019, women can't be represented this way. So like basically, they tone down the sexuality of the comic, but they also tone down a lot of the Christian elements of it.
Yeah,
and,
I was expecting this to be way more Catholic.
And
these nuns,
and
they
made it a lot more of a kind of skeptical take on the Catholic mythology, which the comic book has gotten a lot of criticism because it's very much like steeped in Catholic mythology, and they're just like, yeah, like these characters believe in God and they believe in morality and they do these things, and people are like that's racist.
Yeah, this show, like, it did not stay true to that whole mythology of
it was like it wouldn't
Catholic
commit to any one
Catholicism.
thing.
Like it just brushed off like a joke. The people who were like supposed to be steeped in this religion are like, nah.
Yeah.
It felt very cheap to me.
In the comic book, the main character in the comic book is Sister Shannon Masters, and she's the one who dies in the first episode, who's the Halo bearer.
First 5 minutes.
And basically, in the comic book, it's the Halo doesn't exist. Like that was something they invented for the show. In the comic book, it's more of a Buffy / like Last Airbender type thing where
you just become the chosen one.
Yeah, every generation, this Warrior Nun Ariella, who's named after this Valkyrie who turned away from her pagan beliefs and became an angel because she believed in Jesus. She's kind of like this angel that gets reincarnated every generation. And so the latest one is Sister Shannon Masters, and she's kind of the main character of the comic book. But for the show, they decided to kind of kill her off and start off with like a totally new character who's this character Ava, who starts the show. She's a
paraplegic.
She's a quadriplegic.
Quadriplegic, that's right.
So
yeah.
she's basically, she
Bedridden.
can't move from the neck down. She's her mother died and they couldn't find any other family members for her. So they put her in this like nunnery / orphanage type thing where they had like this kind of sadistic nun who
She
took
just gets
care of her.
abused.
Abused her and basically ends up killing her. And so like she starts off the show dead. And while she's kind of being taken care of in this kind of Catholic morgue, these warrior nuns come in. They're being chased by, you don't know who, but their leader, who has like basically Sister Shannon Masters, who has this halo of power in her that allows her to like see demons and stuff like that, and gives her all these powers. Like she's been mortally wounded by a special metal that doesn't allow her to heal. Divinium. Thank you.
Rhymes with divine.
Yeah. And
So stupid.
And so like they take the halo out of her to try to hide it as these bad guys are breaking in. And the nun who has the halo, the only place that she knows to hide it is in the body of this dead girl. So she puts the halo in Ava's back, and it resurrects her. Like she comes back to life, and she all of a sudden has these powers, and she can walk. And she's in the middle of this thing where like guys are running in and killing people, and so she just runs away. And this becomes a theme in this 10-episode series where basically the main character spends every episode running away from stuff and not dealing with it. And it was very frustrating. Like, and they changed a lot from the source material too. Like, for instance, the character of Lilith, who's kind of like this bitchy nun, warrior nun in the show. In the comic, she's actually a demon princess from hell. And in the comic, basically, Satan rules hell, but there are all these demon factions that are, trying to dethrone him. So there's like a lot of politicking going on. And
So that's a show I would have liked to
And I
see.
feel like they were trying to develop that in the show, but it was, again, so wishy-washy.
The whole MacGuffin of the show is them trying to get into the Vatican to get the ancient bones of some angel that died thousands of years ago. But then
Adriel.
Who's
a bad guy.
the halo is his.
yeah, turns out,
he's an evil demon.
Yeah.
yeah, he's
Again,
not even an angel, and
again-
he's still alive.
I did not understand that switch at all.
subverted
So
expectations
convoluted.
It
again.
made no sense.
You might understand if you knew a little bit about the source material, though. So, like, I was talking about how
The thing though is the source material. This show isn't for people who are into the source material.
well, my point is that if the writers had actually respected the source material, this would have made a lot more sense.
Sure.
So, like the character of Lilith, for instance, in the comic book, she's a demon princess who basically decides to work with the warrior nuns so that she can kind of like get accepted back into heaven because she's a fallen angel and she wants to be an angel again. And so that's her motivation. Now, in this show, she starts off as a human. She gets dragged
She's a
into hell.
nun.
Yeah, she's a nun. She gets dragged into hell. And all of a sudden, she just appears out of it. And remember when we were watching, I was like, I bet she comes back and she's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And she does come back, but she's not a bad guy.
She's just got some weird powers now.
And she doesn't remember anything that happened.
Yeah.
And so like she's got like all these like crazy like demon powers.
Yeah.
But like she doesn't really know how to use them.
Again, they don't explain anything, and they don't commit to anything.
I figured that she came back and she was possessed by a demon who was on a mission, who was using her as
You would think that, but they never really explain
Yeah, they don't
it.
really explain it.
And so, Alex, you were talking about how, so basically in the show, there's this angel called Adriel who comes to Earth and grants the first warrior nun his halo. And this halo is what gives her all of her powers. And it's the thing that's been passed down from generation to generation to create new warrior nuns. And he was kind of like the consigliere of the original warrior nun. He was around to kind of like guide her and like whatever. But because he gave her his halo, he became mortal and he died. And his bones were buried deep in like the inner sanctum of the Vatican, underground.
What became the Vatican?
Yeah,
later on.
in this huge vault that had like
20
Seven-
foot,
13-foot
Yeah.
stone walls on every side. So, but they discover that the burial site of the angel's bones is what's allowing demons to come into the world. It's kind of like this allows the people from hell to jump into reality.
Right.
And so in order to stop the cycle of warrior nuns and demons and people getting killed, Ava decides that she's going to go in there and return the halo to its source and close this, opening between hell and
She has
and
to
earth.
destroy Adriel's bones.
Yeah. So basically, the entire last half of this show is her spent kind of like training to like do this, and like they set up this big like Ocean's 11 type heist where like they have to break into the Vatican.
Ocean's 8, sir.
Yeah, and there's like this new pope that gets elected who used to be the cardinal that ran the order of the
Who they're
cruciform.
they're
So
setting up the whole
As a bad
series
guy.
as a bad guy.
And then at
Yeah.
the very end, they're like, nope, he's
Yeah.
a good guy.
yeah,
Like,
he's just really vain.
Freaking show's infuriating.
So but as a side story, there's this other character named Julia Salvis, who is this like tech guru, and she's she's going around trying to find the Divinium
Divinium.
metal in order to create a portal that will lead to the afterlife, so she can prove that heaven exists or the afterlife exists. And this is all because she has a child who is like sick.
I totally forgot about her.
Yeah. But she's based off of a character in the comic book named Julius Salvis, who was like the first main big bad guy that the warrior nun, Sister Shannon, has to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gender swapped him and made him into this female character in the show.
Who's not really a bad guy in the show.
No, she has
Yeah.
justifiable reasons for
Yeah.
doing what she's doing.
Well, like in the show, Julius, or in the comic book, Julius Salvis leads a double life. So he's a wealthy industrialist, as his front facing to the public persona, but secretly he's an arms dealing Satanist, and he and
Honestly, that would have been cool.
yeah, and he's got like an army of Nazis that he like commands and stuff. And in the comic book, he was imprisoned in the Vatican, like the angel was. And so like he breaks out and starts seeking revenge against the warrior nuns and the church. And that's basically Adriel's storyline. So they kind of took the character of Julius Salvus and separated his storyline and gave it to Adriel, who's like the angel. Because we find out that Adriel isn't actually an angel. He's something, I don't know if he's a demon or not.
I'm already
like-
I'm just lost with your synopsis of it.
Again, non-committal, wishy-washy. They won't even say what the angel is. Is he an angel? Well, I would never call me that. And I'm going back to heaven. So then you're an angel? Well, we don't say that. Oh my God.
And then he gets out and he's like,
And then it turns out
I'm a demon.
Yeah.
Like, what? It's
Who the
just-
hell knows with this show?
And he looks a lot like Jesus.
He does. He
does look a lot like
exactly
Jesus.
like Jesus.
There's a lot of subversive,
Yeah.
anti-religious rhetoric in this
Yeah,
show.
I'm not really. I don't.
But I actually
dig
thought
either.
that the final episode
kinda liked it.
where he escapes, where Adriel escapes and the warrior nuns are forced to like kind of face him
Oh
down
my
with
God,
him.
the ending of this freaking show.
I actually really liked the ending. It was
you
it was
kidding me?
it was a big cliffhanger, but like it felt like the show was actually like finally getting
Well, yeah,
going.
now we got to tune in next time to see what happens.
No, we spent 9 episodes building up to this fight, and they don't even start it.